Buenos dias. My name is Paweł Jarosiewicz, and I am glad to have this opportunity to present you the recent advancements of ecohydrology as the solutions for water resources management. I work in the European Regional Center for Ecohydrology and also at the University of Łódź in UNESCO Chair on Ecohydrology and Applied Ecology. I also serve as the secretary for the National UNESCO IHP Committee and assistant editor in scientific journal Ecohydrology and Hydrobiology. Since 2011, UNESCO Intergovernmental Hydrological Programme promotes the establishment of various demonstration sites around the world to apply ecohydrology solutions in watersheds at all scales. Each demonstration site aims to apply ecohydrology principles and solutions to solve both social and environmental issues. Currently, over 24 ecohydrology demosites exist in the world, and today, to present the ecohydrological solutions, I will focus on two of them located in Poland in Central Europe. Those two ecohydrological demosites are located in urban and rural areas, so they present a full range of solutions to mitigate the anthropogenic impact and increase the catchment sustainability potential WBSRCE in face of climate change. Located in the central Poland, Łódź is a city with environmental problems similar to all of the urbanized areas worldwide. Locally performed climatological studies have revealed a close association between density of urban development and a heat island effect in the city, where the difference can reach even more than 10 degrees between city center and less urbanized areas. Moreover, studies performed in cooperation with medical school indicated the correlation between concentration of alpha-benzopyran, air pollutant, and rate of impermeable surface, with the biggest pollution in areas with limited blue-green infrastructure. Moreover, this correlation has the reflection in the residents' health. When compared asthma and allergy among children in which city, they found a huge difference between center and suburban areas. We need to remember that one grown tree can evaporate up to half cubic meter of water per day. This is ecohydrology. So this also increases the air humidity and reduces the concentration of dust and pollutants. And of course, as the most visible problem, observed particularly during heavy rainfall events in Łódź city, is the flood, the flash flood in the urban area. This is of course a very serious problem which is generating huge infrastructure damage and decreasing the water quality within the urban areas. To reduce the negative effect of climate change and human impact presented here by urbanization on water resources, we should increase the permeability of landscape and use ecosystem processes to increase water quality so it can be safely stored without toxic algae blooms. One of the earliest ecohydrological solutions providing low cost but high advanced way of water purification is sequential sedimentation biofiltration system developed and implemented by Professor Maciej Zalewski and his team in 2007 in Łódź. This system is using only natural processes and achieves high efficiency as it can remove over 90% of sediments and 50% of nutrients. First zone of this system is enhanced sedimentation area, where sediments and high-density pollutants are being removed. The middle zone is geochemical barrier, where due to the application of calcium-rich rocks and other sorbents, we can trap pollutants dissolved in water. Last zone can be described as constructed wetland, with plants species selected for intensive pollutants removal. A sequential system is also a place for natural biological succession, and it supports local biodiversity. As you can see from the pictures, after 12 years of operation, this system looks completely different due to the natural succession and biodiversity development. Thanks to this system, a series of reservoirs have been developed downstream with high resilience to toxic algae blooms. You can see the picture also of one of these reservoirs in very attractive recreational area in Łódź city. In another part of Łódź city, the biggest recreational area was suffering from eutrophication and limiting the ecosystem services for local society. After the identification of threats, which is also the first principle of ecohydrology, and analysis of ecological processes taking place in this area, implementation phase has been proposed and then started. So you can see the modification of sequential system in this U-shaped area in the top picture, where this system was shaped like this to mitigate the impact of point sources that were located in the shoreline of the reservoir. This project was implemented under LIFE program of European Commission. During this project, in some places, pollution was identified as extremely high. So then, based on the ecohydrology concept, the so-called hybrid systems have been proposed. They are integrating the engineering approach and ecohydrological solutions, creating sustainable technologies with high efficiency. Total suspended solids have been reduced with such system from the level of 165 milligrams per liter to only 3.4 milligrams per liter. This kind of solutions provide the alliance between ecohydrology and traditional engineering. Therefore, it's guaranteeing the very high efficiency of the solutions. As the result of ecohydrology implementation in which reservoirs, quality have been significantly improved and ecosystem services rebuilt with strong support of WBSRC goals. In the result of this great success, the European Commission has awarded this LIFE project with an award, Best of the Best. Another Demosite is located within the area of Sulejów Reservoir, which has been built by damming the Pilica River in central Poland with intention to supply local inhabitants, including Łódź city, with drinking water. Unfortunately, due to the bad quality of Pilica River and mismanagement of the reservoir, toxic algae blooms have seriously limited the services, including the drinking water supply, but also tourism and recreation in this area, seriously impacting local economy. Catchment of Pilica River is dominated with agriculture, with several hotspots generating pollution of nitrogen and phosphorus there. Therefore, enhanced riparian buffer zones have been proposed to solve the problem of nitrogen and phosphorus pollution, both in surface and subsurface runoff. This is the kind of ecohydrological solution, as it is based on the understanding of molecular processes between hydrological cycle and biotic components, as bacteria, for instance. In case of denitrification, specific groups of bacteria are activated to reduce the nitrogen, and in terms of phosphorus, selected sorbents are applied to trap the pollution within the barriers. Here on this graphics, you can see the representation of both kind of enhanced riparian buffer zones. This idea of enhanced riparian buffer zones was developed under the LIFE project EcoROP, which was implemented by the European Regional Center for Ecohydrology. Direct catchment of the Suleuf Reservoir is also agriculture dominated, as you can see from this picture. Therefore, one of the demonstration areas was located within the buffer zone between agriculture, landscape, and the reservoir. Before the project implementation started, area was highly degraded, uh, and you can see from these pictures. Then the concept of the area remediation was proposed within this project. And here on the picture, you can see the material that we are using to enhance this microbial component of the soil. So we are using the wood chips to increase the organic matter content in the soil and create favorable conditions for bacteria to start the denitrification process, so to remove the nitrogen from the subsurface flow in the underground water. Also, a pathway was created to navigate the tourists and anglers, so the strip of green area is protected here. Of course, plants, also vegetation, they have a huge role in self-purification of the ecosystem. Moreover, wave protection units were developed also to protect this littoral zone, to protect the plants. This area currently looks like this and is visited by huge numbers of tourists and is example of successful remediation, uh, including the enhancement of ecosystem resilience. This denitrification barrier, as I explained, it is located under the pathway you can see on this picture. So all the pedestrians, they are able to move in this area and they are not even noticing this eco-hydrological solution that is existing close to them. Of course, the notice educational boards exist in such area, so the local society, all the people are visiting this place, can be educated also about eco-hydrology. Another site was identified to be a source of high level of phosphorus and sediments. It was also a highly degraded area within the borders of the Suleuf Reservoir. So the different kind of barrier was proposed here to trap the pollutants. The most important one was the phosphorus, which was present in these waters, especially after heavy rainfall. It was washed away directly to the reservoir, generating toxic algae blooms. So you can see that the barrier to trap the phosphorus was organized in the way that it looks like the pathway. This small stream could be easily passed through the pedestrian by the pedestrians, and on the other way the water is filtrating through the barrier and pollution is trapped within the barrier. Also, some additional recreational area was organized there to also increase this economical value of this area. Although we can get a high efficiency of eco-hydrological solutions right now, we continue our endeavors in development of even more advanced technologies. Recently, during my PhD studies, we have elaborated an innovative material efficient in phosphates removal, but also ready for plant growth support and promoting growth of helpful microorganisms. Uh, we've been able to achieve that thanks to the construction of the material where we use natural-based components such as clay and biopolymers. Here on my hands, you can see some alternatives of this product, which is named BioCare, which we made with calcite or activated carbon. The choice of the material that we are using depends on the pollution kind that we are dealing with in the aquatic ecosystem and we would like to remove. Also, several other kind of the materials have been developed according to the pollution that we are removing. Our idea have received a gold medal during the International Innovation Concours Le Pen in Paris, in France. From this point 2 years ago, our technology has progressed toward the integration of eco-hydrological solutions with circular economy. How we do this? First of all, the core of BioCare is a resistant and environmental safe component. Then we use a specially designed mixer to integrate all the components, the organic and mineral matter, and to create blocks ready to absorb the pollutants inside the aquatic system. In this case, we have been focused on phosphorus as this element resources are depleting and implementation of circularity is extremely necessary to reduce our pressure on the environment. With phosphorus trapped, it can be used as the fertilizer directly in hydroponic system or by chemically or physically removing phosphorus, it can be used later as the fertilizer directly in agriculture. Then the core of the material can be reused again and the cycle is closed. So here we connected the circular economy idea and eco-hydrological based solutions. So this is also the future of our implementation. Here we are in the end of my presentation. I must admit that I regret that we could not visit the beautiful Ecuador this time. Nonetheless, on behalf of our team, I would like to express our strong commitment to support you in the eco-hydrology implementation with our best. I would like to thank you for your kind attention, and I would like to thank Marco Albaracini for facilitating this cooperation. I hope to see you in more safety future. Gracias.